This bee on the top is gathering pollen by rubbing the anthers, which are all these little things around the edge, against her furry body. And then she'll comb the pollen off of her fur with these comb-like hairs on her legs. So she's about to fly up, and she's hovering in the air and combing the pollen off while she's hovering in the air. And you can see her legs are just constantly working to get the pollen gathered together, and then she sticks it together with some nectar or bee spit or whatever, and sticks it on her back legs in these little pollen baskets. So you'll see when bees are out working, you'll see these little kind of balls of pollen on their back legs. You can kind of see them here. And then they carry those to the hive, offload them, and go back out to work. A lot of people think of bees as gathering nectar, but I don't think that these poppies produce any nectar. They're just after the pollen. And the pollen is extremely important in the hive economy because that's the protein source that grows all the new bees. So this one at about 10 o'clock is gathering off the outside, but it's about to turn around. And now it's trying to get out to climb up there. And these other ones further down at like 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock, they're just pretty much exhausted. They're covered in pollen, and they've been trying to climb out of there for who knows how long. And they're just running out of energy. The spoke-like arrangement on the top of the pod there is where the pollen gets deposited and to fertilize the flower. So now they're just trying to fly out, and they're just beating their wings. If they all just turned around, they could climb up the pod and fly out. But I don't think they're that intelligent. Not in that way. I mean, they have a lot of admirable qualities, but I don't think that type of intelligence is one of them. Then again, this one showed up, and it was like super cautious about going down into the flower, right? So maybe it's been doing this for weeks. They don't live that long, so if you only live for 6 weeks, you only have so much time to learn what to do and not to do. So presumably this drama gets played out time and time again as newbies come in and have to figure out how to do this without getting stuck. So again, you can see she's hovering in the air there and combing the pollen off while she hovers, but they also do it while they're sitting down. So now I'm fishing out this one that was laying in the back of the flower, and it was so exhausted that it just wasn't even moving anymore. Its antennas are just moving a little bit. You can see its eyes even are completely covered in pollen, but it had enough strength to grab onto this stick. So I just plopped it out to see if it would recover, because I was kind of curious what would happen. And then I thought, well, maybe I should just feed it, so maybe it's out of energy. And I was curious if it was just tired or if it had run out of fuel and needed to refuel. I don't really know what happened. Obviously it knew what it was. It's kind of perked up and was like, oh, I know what this is. But I'm not sure if it actually even ate any. But now you can see it's cleaned its eye off. So I guess that was the first step. And these guys, too, were just pretty much exhausted in the bottom there, struggling until they just couldn't do much anymore. But eventually, these guys flew off. So look on the back legs, and you can see the pollen blobs on each bee. So that's where they store the pollen to take it back. And this is that original bee that I fished out. It perked right up, flew off to an apple tree, and cleaned itself off and went away. And presumably this just happens over and over again every morning.